Well, it requires no great expertise from me to recognise this as a cylinder musical box. If we have a look at the case first, nicely figured in burr walnut with a half veneer, and rather nice little banding round the edge. Now let's open it up. I hope it's a music box anyway. Ah yes, there we are. Oh, that's a nice example, isn't it? How did it come into your possession?
Well, it was in my grandparents' home.
Yes.
Which I remember as a child.
Right.
And we had to stand on stools to operate it.
Because it was quite high up.
Yes, because it was quite high up. And so I remember it from a
And I noticed that it's got 12 different tunes, which is quite unusual because a lot of them have 6 or 8 or 10.
Oh, right.
12 is a very good number.
Right.
Right. Now, is it wound up? Because I noticed that the levers are correctly positioned, but it's not going. Is there a special way of starting it?
Yes, I don't know whether this is the proper way, but...
Oh, right. Now, that's a fairly original way of starting it. And then you flick the cylinder round, do you? Yes, there we are. There we are, playing with the bells. You can see the cylinder turning round in the middle, and perhaps we can turn it off. Have you got a special way of turning it off?
I'm afraid we don't know how to turn it off.
Oh, you don't know how to turn it off? Well, I guess if we stop the little wheel going round, then hopefully, yes, there we are, that'll be all right.
Yes.
The mechanism, I think, is absolutely remarkable, because if you look at the cylinder here, these pins would have been individually put on by whoever made it.
Amazing.
And with 12 different tunes, you've got an astonishing number of pins. So really, it's almost a feat of engineering.
Incredible.
Do you know where it was made?
Well, the only evidence we've got is that it's got Paris on it, so I imagine it's French.
Well, I think not. I think
it's not.
because the vast majority were made in Switzerland.
Right.
It may well have been retailed in France or Germany, hence the French connection that you were associating it with. What about value? Have you had it valued?
No, we haven't.
No.
We have no idea.
Musical boxes are quite sought after these days by collectors. As I say, this is in nice condition, early example, 12 tunes. So you're probably looking at an auction value of perhaps £2,500–3,000.
Right.
Lovely example. Thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
This BBC badge that's on there was only put on for photography work, press work, and that type of thing. Wasn't on there apparently for everyday use. It's a ribbon microphone. It was developed by the Marconi company and in conjunction with the BBC, and I think it was in use before the war and right up until the middle 50s.
Think of all the names, the illustrious broadcasting names that would have spouted into that. You know, Alvar Liddell, John Snagg, Stuart Hibbard.
Yes.
These amazing names. And do you think there might be a bit of their DNA in there?
What a terrible thought.
A clone of John Snagg.
We might be able to do that with today's technology.
Absolutely. Listen, I can't resist this. This is John Snagg, perhaps the sort of early 50s. This is London.